Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep into Stonehenge today, specifically for our STEM
Yeah,
listeners.
excellent.
We've got some great sources. We've got excerpts from the Wikipedia article. We've got a super detailed timeline,
Okay.
and we're going to go full engineer today.
Love it.
So forget those romanticized images of druids.
Right.
We're going to be talking about the engineering and the science behind this monument.
Hmm.
So what's the first thing that pops into your mind when you hear the word Stonehenge?
Honestly, I think of the sheer scale of it, like those massive stones just standing there for millennia. It's mind-boggling how they got them there.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's probably a pretty common first thought. But what's interesting is that the site was active long before those iconic stones even showed up. Like we're talking 8000 BC.
Really? Wow. That early?
Yeah. Archaeologists found evidence of, get this, massive pine posts near the future Stonehenge, like these huge prehistoric telephone poles almost.
Huh. I never knew that.
And then there's Blickmead. It's a nearby settlement from around the same time. They were thriving thanks to a reliable spring, which is really important for any community. It shows that even back then, people recognized that this was a prime location. Like, they were drawn to it.
It's like Stonehenge was always meant to be, even before it was Stonehenge.
Yeah, exactly. And then around 4000 BC, things start to change even more. We see this influx of Neolithic farmers migrating from Anatolia. They brought their agricultural knowledge with them, which transforms the way of life in Britain.
It wasn't just a change in lifestyle, though, right? It was a whole population shift.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's from this new era that Stonehenge, as we know it, starts to emerge. But it's not like it was built overnight. It actually evolved through 5 main phases, and each one is like a chapter in a really complex story.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's break it down. What's phase one?
All right, so Stonehenge 1, this is around 3100 BC, and we see this circular bank and ditch being constructed. Pretty typical for the Neolithic period. But here's where it gets interesting. They deliberately placed animal bones and tools in the ditch.
That's not so typical. Sounds pretty ritualistic.
Right, and then there are these 56 pits, which are called the Aubrey Holes.
Aubrey Holes?
Yeah, named after John Aubrey, who was an antiquarian who documented them. Now, these holes, they might have held timber posts, maybe forming an early timber circle, or they might have even been a precursor to the bluestone circle.
Interesting.
And to make things even more mysterious, they were later used for cremations.
Wow, so Stonehenge was already a multi-purpose site right from the beginning.
Exactly. So like they were constantly experimenting, constantly adapting the site to fit their needs, whether those needs were ritualistic, practical, or maybe even both.
It's almost like a giant laboratory with each phase building upon the last.
That's a great way to put it. And speaking of building upon the last, let's move on to Stonehenge 2, around 2900 BC. This phase sees more timber structures popping up, which indicates a potential shift in how they were using the site.
Oh, how so?
Well, it seems that during this phase, it became a cremation cemetery. And it's actually the earliest known cremation cemetery in the British Isles.
Wow, so it becomes this really tangible link to these people, their rituals, their evolving relationship with death.
Exactly. And then comes the big moment, the moment everyone's been waiting for. Stonehenge 3I, around 2600 BC, the arrival of the bluestones, these massive, iconic bluestones.
80 of them, right, weighing up to 2 tons each.
You got it. And hauled all the way from the Presley Hills in Wales.
Over 150 miles away.
Over 150 miles away. Just let that sink in for a minute. No wheels, just sheer manpower and ingenuity. And they did this, why? To bring these stones to Stonehenge.
It blows my mind every time I think about it. What could have possessed them to undertake such a monumental task?
Well, there's this theory that the bluestones were originally part of a dismantled stone circle in Wales, which suggests that they weren't just moving stones, they were transferring an entire complex of meaning and tradition. It adds a whole other dimension to the story, doesn't it?
It makes you wonder what prompted them to move it, What did it represent to them that they felt the need to bring it all the way to Stonehenge?
Yeah, absolutely. These are questions that continue to baffle archaeologists to this day. And now, buckle up, because things are about to get even more massive. Enter Stonehenge 3-2, spanning from 2600 to 2400 BC. The sarsen stones arrive.
Okay, so we're talking about the big guys now, right? The outer circle.
Yes. The outer circle, the sarsen stones, some weighing up to 50 tons each, sourced from a quarry about 16 miles away. Even though it's a shorter distance, the engineering involved is still incredible.
Absolutely. I mean, think about the logistics of moving and erecting those stones. They used mortise-and-tenon joints to secure those lintels on top of the uprights, which is a technique borrowed from woodworking.
And those tongue and groove joints on the lintels themselves. It's clear that they understood structural integrity. This wasn't just random placement. It was meticulously designed for stability and longevity. They really were master builders.
And let's not forget those carvings of axes and daggers on some of the stones. I mean, what were they trying to convey through those markings? What deeper meanings did those symbols hold for them? It's like they left us a coded message challenging us to decipher their intentions.
It really is. It's like a giant puzzle, and we're just starting to piece it together. And to add another layer to this puzzle, evidence points to large gatherings happening at nearby Durrington walls during this period. It's likely a settlement connected to Stonehenge's construction. We find animal bones there from regions far and wide, hinting at this vast network of people coming together for rituals, feasts, possibly coordinated with celestial events.
Wow. So Stonehenge wasn't just a local phenomenon, it was drawing people from all over. It was a hub of activity and exchange, a focal point for a whole society connected by shared beliefs.
Exactly. And they had the organizational capacity to pull off this massive, massive undertaking. Which brings us back to that central question, why? Why invest so much time, effort, and ingenuity into creating Stonehenge? What was it all for?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that's sparked countless theories and debates among researchers for centuries. And it's a question that's fascinated astronomers, archaeologists, even anthropologists, you name it. Was Stonehenge a giant astronomical observatory? A calendar? Was it predicting solstices and equinoxes? A site for healing? I mean, maybe it was all of those things combined.
Right. It's so easy to get caught up in those astronomical theories, especially for a STEM audience like ours.
Mm-hmm.
And there is evidence supporting the alignment of Stonehenge with, significant solar and lunar events. But how they actually used those alignments, if they even did, for precise calculations, is still a huge debate.
Yeah. I mean, was it a sophisticated astronomical tool? Or just a symbolic representation of their connection to the cosmos? Maybe both. But what we can say for sure is that Stonehenge shows an understanding of those celestial cycles, which would have been super important for their agricultural practices and just like their whole worldview.
And then you've got the human element. We can't forget those cremation burials, the remnants of feasts, the evidence of rituals. Stonehenge wasn't just this structure, it was a vibrant hub.
Absolutely. You can't separate the people from the place, right? And speaking of the human element, isotope analysis, that's given us some wild insights. Like some individuals buried at Stonehenge came from super far off lands. You've got the Amesbury archer buried around 2300 BC who probably grew up near the Alps. Like what?
It's crazy. And then there's that teenage boy buried around 1550 BC who originated from the Mediterranean region. It paints this picture of Stonehenge as a pilgrimage site, drawing people from all across Europe, maybe for healing, maybe for spiritual guidance, maybe to take part in these huge ceremonies.
Yeah. I mean, it really challenges how we think about Neolithic societies. We picture them as isolated, right? But these were folks engaging in long-distance travel, cultural exchange, and Stonehenge seems to be right at the heart of it all.
And it gets even more interesting when you look at those later phases of Stonehenge, specifically Stonehenge 3 to V, which spans from 2400 to 1600 BC. We start seeing these rearrangements of the bluestones, which suggests that they kept modifying and adapting the site over time.
Right. I mean, those changes, they could reflect their beliefs changing, maybe social dynamics shifting, even responses to environmental stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. The final phase of Stonehenge lines up with Seahenge, which is that timber circle they found on the Norfolk coast.
Oh, wow.
So then you're thinking, okay, were these sites connected? Were there shared practices happening between them? Could there have been this whole network of ritual landscapes across Britain, each with its own special function?
That's fascinating to think about. It really shows us that Stonehenge wasn't static, right? It was constantly changing and adapting to the needs and beliefs of its builders and users for literally centuries. And that adaptability, that willingness to experiment, that's what I find so intriguing.
And that ingenuity, it's not just in the past. Stonehenge going from a ruin to this protected site is a story of adaptation, too. Like, imagine early 1900s, tourists chipping away at the stones for souvenirs. Thankfully, people started realizing, hey, we got to preserve this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like in 1901, William Goland spearheaded the first restoration. And then in 1918, you've got Cecil Chubb. He bought the site at auction, and then, get this, he gifted it to the nation.
Wow, talk about foresight. He knew it was important.
It really was an incredible act.
Yeah.
And then you've got the recognition growing even more. In 1986, Stonehenge and its surroundings become a UNESCO World Heritage Site. That's huge.
It is, but then you get a new challenge. How do you balance preservation with access? Millions of people want to see Stonehenge, but you don't want to damage this fragile place.
It's a tough one for sure. And in recent years, they've built a new visitor center, Closed roads. There's even talks of a tunnel to divert traffic. It's a debate. Some people want minimal intervention. Others say, hey, we got to do this to make sure it survives.
I think it's amazing that Stonehenge, even in the 21st century, still sparks these passionate conversations.
Right. It's not just about the stones. It's what they symbolize. It's our shared history, our connection to the universe. It's this quest to figure out where we fit in it all.
And that meaning keeps evolving. Alongside the scientific stuff, you've got that spiritual dimension coming back strong. Neo-pagan groups, especially neo-druids, they've embraced Stonehenge as a place of worship.
It's a powerful reminder that Stonehenge isn't just an archaeological site. It's a living thing with layers of meaning and interpretations that still resonate with us today, regardless of what you believe. And it's amazing how it reflects our own understanding, how it changes over time.
Totally. Like that recent discovery, they pinpointed where those sarsen stones came from. A core sample from the 50s, just sitting in a museum, and boom, modern tech gives us the answer.
It's crazy what science can do now. And speaking of detective work, that dismantled stone circle in Wales, the one that might be the source of the bluestones, that adds a whole new layer, right? Because it means they planned this out, coordinated on a scale we don't usually associate with Neolithic folks.
It's humbling, isn't it? Like, we underestimate them, then new evidence pops up, and we got to rethink everything.
For sure, it speaks to how well they knew their environment, the resources, even engineering knowledge we're just starting to comprehend.
And who knows what else is waiting to be discovered. As our tools get better, Stonehenge might spill even more secrets. I mean, think about it. What were the exact rituals they did there? How did those beliefs change over time? Was there one leader or a group? So many questions.
And that's what's so exciting. Even after all this time, Stonehenge still throws us curveballs. Each discovery opens up new paths, pushes our knowledge, makes us question what we thought we knew.
It's a good reminder. History isn't set in stone, huh? It's constantly being discovered and reinterpreted. And Stonehenge, with all its mystery, is right at the forefront of that.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Stonehenge, especially for our STEM listeners out there, keep asking those questions, keep exploring, keep being amazed by what people were capable of back then.
Because Stonehenge is more than just those stones, it's a testament to our curiosity, our need to innovate, our fascination with the universe, and our place in it.
And who knows, maybe one of you listening will be the one to unlock the next big Stonehenge secret using your STEM skills.
Exactly. So keep those minds curious, keep those imaginations running wild. There's a whole world of knowledge out there waiting to be explored.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. We'll catch you on the next one.